So let's talk about how I read almost 900 books in 2020. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Charles from the channel Books on Stereo, and yes, you heard that right. In 2020, I read 915 books in 2020. Which is absolutely crazy. Now, I would give you some tips and tricks on how to read more, but I think my great friend Lisa from Remarkably Lisa did a really great video kind of covering on how she really kind of read more and how she read, I think, about 600 books in 2020. So definitely go check out that video. I was actually thinking of making a video like that, but then I saw hers and she did it much better. So go watch her video. Reading is not a competition. It is more about quality over quantity. So I don't want this video to make you feel like, oh, you need to read more, or you should feel ashamed about how many books you read in 2020. 2020 was a hard year overall for everyone. So if you were able to make time to only read 5 books, that is absolutely amazing. So what I thought I would do is like go through my Goodreads year in review for 2020 and kind of just talk about it. So without further ado, let's get into my stats. So like I said, I read 915 books in 2020. And so let's kind of scroll down. So the shortest book that I read in 2020 was Settling the Score Part 2 Blackmailed, which was only 14 pages. I thought it was longer than that, but I guess it wasn't. And then the longest book I read in 2020 was a Complete Kane Chronicles series, and this was 1,520 pages. Absolutely love that series trilogy. It is Egyptian mythology based, really great. Very different from the Percy Jackson or a lot of his Greek mythology series, and I absolutely loved this trilogy, and I wish he wrote more in this world, but alas he hasn't. And so the average length of a book that I read in 2020 was about 233 pages, which sounds about right. Most romances tend to be around that length. And then the most popular book I read was Twilight, and almost 6 million people have read Twilight. I think I read it because Nicole from Who Put This Book was doing a Twilight reread in preparation for Midnight Sun, so I decided to check out the first book. And then I read Mistaken for Love by Isaac Darko. I didn't even try to say the middle name. And this was the least popular book that people have shelved, and only one other person has shelved this book, and I can understand why. It was absolutely horrible. And so my average rating for 2020 was 3.5 stars, and that feels like a little bit low. I feel like I rated a lot of books 4 or higher, but that's interesting. I thought it would be like around a 4 average rating. And one of the books that I read that had the highest rating on Goodreads was Heartstopper. I think this is volume 3 by Alice Oseman. Really great high school romantic comedy series. And so on average I had about 4.65 star rating. And then my first review of 2020 was a picture book called A Real Friend, and the only reason why I read this was because I got the ARC on NetGalley, and so it only took me like 5 minutes to read, so I decided to read it and give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And the rest are all my 2020 books. And there's definitely a nice mix of romance, some children's books, some novellas. I really started getting into novellas this year, so that's kind of like a reason why my numbers are so much higher than in previous years. Oh, and then if you haven't read Evil Eye, that is a really great Audible play. I think it's only about like an hour and 20 minutes. Really great. Basically, it's rooted in, I believe it is Indian mythology, where someone can be reincarnated. Really cool plot. Don't want to spoil too much about it. Definitely go read that one. And my last review of the year was another picture book. It looks like I started out with a picture book and I ended with a picture book, and that's really cool. And so before I sign off, I also want to just kind of go over kind of my reading journey up until now, and then also kind of breaking down a little bit more by star ratings of the books I read in 2020. So I'll pop a graphic right up here. And in 2015, when I first joined Goodreads, I only read about 45 books. In 2016, 229, 2017, 224, 2018, 437, 2019, 666, which I feel like I should have just read another book because that is a really ominous number. And then in 2020, I read 915 books. Now I don't care too much about like page count or like publication years or books over time or pages over time. And I'll pop another graphic of like kind of like the ratings breakdown for 2020. I had probably an equal amount of 5-star, 4-star, and 3-star reads. My 2-star and my 1-star read books are quite skimpy, and I'm like really surprised by that. I'm like kind of shocked as like the 1-star king. Why don't I have more 1-star reviews? So like if you want to send me your favorite books, I'll write a 1-star review for them. And if you think I'm joking, I'm actually not. Gotta keep up my reputation, but overall 2020 was a really great reading year. It was a hard year for a lot of people, and it was definitely a hard year for me as well. So I definitely hope that you found some new favorites, and or you just reread some of your old favorites. That is completely fine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I didn't have too much of a point to this video, but if you want like a little bit of a tip or like hack on how to read more, if you're interested in like incorporating more reading into your daily life, I would say definitely go check out audiobooks. And yeah, so that was the end to this kind of pointless video, but let me know down in the comment section down below if you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys with a brand new video. Peace.